Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. I'm your host, Dave Kosminski, and we are live on location at the Connecticut Section AWWA ATCAVE, which is their annual vendor conference and vendor expo. And we have our first guest of the day, hailing from the great state of Portland, working for Snyder Engineering, Mr. Brendan Cutuli. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing? Good to see you, man.
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me how you got into the water industry.
Absolutely, yeah. So I initially wanted to get into civil engineering, and I actually had a mutual friend of Don, so I did an internship back in 2016.
Okay.
So I started to learn about what Snyder Civil Engineering did, and I had 2 internships with them in college. And I actually came back after college to start working for Snyder Civil Engineering. So it was kind of, just happened by chance, really, through a mutual friend
Wow.
that I knew through Don, and it's stuck ever since.
Wow, it's amazing. You know, I've just starting. I think this is our 105th episode and so forth. And 95% of the people that I've interviewed that got into the water industry is kind of like yourself by happenstance. I knew somebody, I did this and I did that, but it's not, And my whole premise of doing this podcast is to make students, college, freshmen, juniors, seniors, and even high school seniors of the great careers that are available in this industry. Fantastic.
Absolutely. I think that's the power of networking, and it's important to do that throughout your career.
Yeah, it's funny when you say networking, and I tell all my students that you never know. Network is so important. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to shake hands with. That someday down the road, I know a guy, or the guy knows you, and to put a face to the name and shake the hand, look in their eye, it's so important. It really is.
Absolutely. I think they always say with a company, you always represent them, whether you're, out in the office, out in the field, and the same thing before you have a job. Everybody's watching you, so it's important to conduct yourself well, and, that'll help you network and get those, opportunities in the future.
Well said. Well said. So your education path, where did you go to high school?
So I went to high school in Middletown, Connecticut at
Okay.
Xavier High School.
Okay,
So it's a
yep.
private school.
Yep.
And really helped structure myself to, be accountable, be responsible for, what I really wanted to do for myself and for my career. So it set a good foundation for me.
Now, did you set your sights on an engineering path right from the get-go, or did that kind of just fall into place?
I did. So my father's an electrical engineer,
I see.
and he worked for United Illuminating in Connecticut. So he was an electrical engineer for about 35 years.
Uh-huh.
So I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I just didn't know which path.
Okay.
And in high school, I took 2 separate electives for engineering.
Okay.
And then I kind of learned the direction towards civil engineering at that time.
Oh, okay. All right. And so did you graduate UConn or how?
So I didn't go to UConn. I went out of state. I went to Wentworth Institute of Technology.
Okay.
So it's a small technology school,
In
very
Boston.
hands-on in Boston.
Yeah, I think Wentworth is part of the Fen 5.
Correct.
Okay, because my daughter graduated from Wheelock College.
Okay, yep.
And Wheelock, Simmons, Emmanuel, Mass College of Pharmacy, and I think Wentworth is the 5th one.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. All my money went to Boston. my son graduated from the Berklee College of Music, which is down on Mass Ave. And
Yep.
My daughter did her undergrad at Wheelock, and then she did her grad at BU. But she's a social worker, so that's great. How did you like Boston?
Loved Boston. Great place to go to college.
Oh,
I
man.
think, there's so many opportunities there, a lot to do.
Yeah.
And definitely a great place to kind of learn about yourself, learn what you want to do. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Did you get the T-Pass?
I did get the T-Pass, yeah. It's the only right way to get around.
Oh, my God.
Not great to have a car there.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's the best investment you can get is a T-Pass. Go anywhere, whatever, Longworth, whatever.
Absolutely.
Get off. Fantastic. So, going forward, as far as, getting into the water industry now, what are your responsibilities now with Snyder Engineering?
Absolutely. So it was very interesting when I first came on board for full-time back in 2020. I actually, Snyder Civil Engineering mostly does a lot of design and inspection
Correct.
for water main infrastructure. and the director of operations, Steve Melanson, actually helped kind of put me into a role of meter testing. So
Okay.
initially we had a small group in the company that focused on production meter testing,
Mm-hmm.
and we only did it for about 2 months or so. And besides that, I was doing a lot of inspection work.
Okay.
And that kind of just slowly grew to my liking of meter testing, and now I basically work full time doing a variety of special projects between meter testing, some lead service investigation. But we really grew that part of the company to hopefully, continue to service more clients in the
You know,
state.
Speaking of network, Steve and I go back a long time. I'm a past chair of the Connecticut section, and so is Steve. We go back a long time and worked together for many, many years. And he's a retiree at Connecticut Water, as you know, and
Yes.
so forth. And his knowledge base in the industry is second to none. It really is.
The people you want to keep around yourself, because you'll
Absolutely.
learn a lot.
Absolutely. And Steve is a great guy. And he was, in fact, not last year, but the year before, he won the Fuller Award for the section. So for a year, I was calling him Mr. Fuller every time I go by.
That's great.
And so forth. So yeah. Testing meters. So now, where do you test them on site or?
So it's all on site. It's all in-field testing. So we initially started just doing production meters, so at well sites, treatment plants,
Okay.
and that's grown to do customer meters as well. So for some of the clients throughout the state, they have customer meters anywhere from 3 to 8 inch.
Okay.
And we'll go out on site. Normally we'll utilize the bypass, so
Okay.
the customer will still have water.
Yep.
And then we'll be able to test the meter with a factory calibrated meter that we bring out on site.
I see.
And we use that to, test and recalibrate the meters in field or swap them out to ensure accuracy for billing purposes to meet PURA requirements.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think now what flavor meters? I mean, there's you've got. We used to use Portland. We use Camstruck. We use Neptune for years and so forth. They've been around.
Neptune's still around, and they've got a big market right now. Neptune we see a lot. We see some Census.
Yeah.
And then on the ultrasonic side of things, you can see Flexum, Toshiba,
Okay.
Corona. So it really depends upon the client and their preference, but I would say Neptune has a pretty big market that we see.
Sure. Yeah.
Specifically on the customer end too.
Right. Now, do you say the ultrasonics are overtaking the mechanicals?
100%.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, they're the new thing, and they're going to take the market, and it's going to be the only type of product that you'll see in the future.
Well, I think from an accuracy standpoint, they've got it all over. It is what it is.
As much as you like it or not, it's accurate, and it's more accurate than the mechanical meters. So, there's really no disagreeing in that regard.
Especially at the low flows.
Absolutely, the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I can remember testing the old Neptune meters. The Tridents, bringing them in. They were coming in at 98%, 95%. Okay, and you try to get them up between 99 and 101 or whatever. But changing out the gears, running them through the tester, and so forth. That was part of when I was going through college. I worked at the water department. Summers, and I would come back on weekends, and the guys back in the day, we didn't change out meters. We basically brought them back in, tested them, and then I rebuilt them, and the guys put them back in a week. And now it's throw in a new one.
With the cost nowadays, that seems like what they're doing.
Well, exactly. I mean, back in the day, the old Tridents. I mean, you had $15 worth of brass in them, for Christ's sake. So
Absolutely.
we made more on scrap from there. So
That's for sure.
yeah, nice. So so what utilities have you been working with now, as far as?
So we initially started just with Aquarian Water Company.
Okay.
So we started on their production end, and we have as well started to service Connecticut Water on the production end.
Okay.
And we've now begun servicing Aquarian's customer meter department.
Okay.
So we primarily help with those utilities, and some of the smaller municipalities have sought out our services just kind of like on a one basis, because it's tough for them to justify the cost when
Sure.
they're not as regulated as some of these private utilities.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Um, you know, and again, the premise of the whole podcast is trying to, influence younger students to, consider careers in their life. So, if you were to give advice to high school senior, college freshman, what would you say?
I think the utility industry is the best industry to be in because it's job security.
Yes, it is.
In any kind of, you know, difficulty challenge that our world may face, we're always going to need water, we're always going to
Absolutely.
need gas, we're always going to need electricity. So that's something that I learned from my father being in the electrical industry, even on, hurricanes, snowstorms, he was out working.
Yeah, yeah.
And I learned if I want to keep a job and I want to have some, some sustainability, I want to always be sure that I can support myself and
Sure.
support a family, then the utility industry is the way to go. And there's, I think, new work going on every day. It's
Absolutely.
ever changing, and I think every year you've got a new challenge to face.
Well, and the thing is, the utility industry, whether it's water, sewer, wastewater, electric, or gas, or whatever, it's not an industry that you can outsource. You can't, send jobs across the pond. You need the boots on the ground here to fix the leaks, to fix the repairs, to get the outages back, to go from there and to go. But yeah, it's important. It really is.
I
So.
think every year there's more work.
Well,
it's there and it's growing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the way, I mean, obviously, technology has changed a lot in my 50 years, and as far as that goes, you've got, you know, you've got SCADA systems, which you can allow a remote, access to a lot of systems. Years ago we had a chlorine alarm or something like that. Get out of bed at 3, what the heck is going on? I have to go up to the reservoir, find out what the chlorinator. Okay, well, if it's low chlorine or whatever, find out what is now. Plug into the laptop and dial in remotely and say, okay, and okay, we need to adjust it. Click, click, done. You don't have to go back to bed.
It's definitely a little more user friendly nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm sure the operators certainly enjoy that, not having to, make those commutes.
Well, exactly, and obviously, most utilities, but in the realm of that advancing technology, it allows the water industry to, for good, bad, or indifferent, to do more with less. You didn't have to, have 4 guys on. You can do it with 2 guys on. Okay, we didn't have to run 24-hour shifts. You can do, 8-hour shifts, and somebody take a laptop home at night. So that's but that's the way it is these days.
Absolutely.
Technology and it just keeps moving. How has technology moved since you got into it?
Certainly. I think in some regards it'll definitely help be more efficient in what we're doing, but I think in regards to our end working for the clients, a lot of our work is very hands-on, boots
Okay.
on the ground. So in some design aspects, it may be able to help facilitate a little bit more efficiency, but I don't know how much of an impact it'll have directly on our company.
Okay.
I think we can definitely utilize it in some regards to provide, more efficient services to our clients.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think that's mostly, it'll be more of on our back end approach of how we're able to,
Right.
provide some of the services in regards to documentation a little bit better.
Sure.
But our everyday on site approach, it probably won't have as much of an effect that
Nice.
we've been seeing.
Well, again, technology is moving at a lightning pace. I mean, when I was working for the town of Portland, I was the IT director, and it kept me humble every day. Between the new things coming out, dual factor authentication, everything else is, and cyber is a big thing now. With protection, especially in the water utilities. With that remote aspect, it opens up a lot of vulnerability that you have to, take into consideration, protect that.
Absolutely. For these utilities, it's definitely tough. It's something that everybody needs every day, and pulling the access of water to a large group of people can definitely cause some problems.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's something to definitely be ahead of the game on.
Yeah, because there's always a back door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go from there. So, I don't know. Well, as Donnie says, I've been in the music industry I own a music store, obviously in Portland. So, I have my alter life. I actually graduated college as a music teacher, but didn't work out that way. But
So
I
it's got
own
a curveball for you.
Yeah, no, but I own a music store, so I still have I was doing teaching and so forth. So, anyway, so I have a couple musical questions here for you.
Certainly.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I really enjoy later rock and roll. I'm more of like a 60s, 70s
Okay.
rock and roll kind of guy.
Classic rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay. Favorite groups? What do you have?
So many. I mean, obviously the top ones, I really enjoy Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
as well, I really like, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Yep.
Um, the Moody Blues,
Okay.
a big variety. The band, obviously there's a lot of,
Yeah.
great music back then.
Two favorite albums. What do you think?
I really like The Wall
Okay.
by Pink Floyd.
Yep.
And maybe Zeppelin 2.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are definitely always like the comfortable go-tos if, I want to hear some good music.
There we go. Just put it on and just dial it right in and tune out.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay. What's the last concert you went to? Do you remember?
The last concert I've been to. Trying to think what I went to recently. I do go to a lot. Normally nowadays I actually don't go to a lot of rock shows. I go to a lot of jam bands. I'm not sure if you know.
Oh yeah.
So I really like seeing. I mean, technically they can be considered, 90s rock as Fish.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy
Yeah.
seeing
yeah.
Fish. There's
Yep.
a new band called Goose that's come out. That's
Okay.
pretty similar. But I do go to a lot of newer indie shows. So I'm trying to think the last one that I went to. But it's not really coming to mind. I actually haven't gone recently.
Have you been to a Fish concert?
Yes, I've
Okay.
seen them quite often. Yeah.
I have a student that is the father. They're diehard Fish fans. I mean, they go to the Bahamas. They go wherever they're playing, they'll go. It's crazy. It really is.
I know, yeah. My sister's a big fan, and we know a lot of people who basically travel, follow them, and so forth.
Yeah.
They put on a good show.
They do.
It's unique seeing an artist play a song in a different way.
Oh yeah.
A week later or a year
Well,
later.
well, that's the thing, and that's the beauty of jam band stuff, because it's every night is a different nuance. I'm a phenomenal Allman Brothers fan, and
Awesome.
a good friend of mine is Jamo, who's actually the only surviving member of the Allman Brothers, and he lives in Bloomfield, but he is. He's been in the business a long time. He's just, I think he's 81 now, and so forth. Just had his knee replaced, but he's still out there. He still plays a little bit. They played last week down at the Iridium down in New York. But there's an Allman Brothers. It's kind of a tribute band called the Brothers.
Yep.
And a lot of the old players, Chuck Leavell, Mark Quinones, who's one of the percussionists, as far as that. Derek Trucks, okay.
Derek Trucks is incredible.
Warren Hayne,
Warren Haynes, yeah.
killer,
Government Mule is a great band.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, Matt Apps and the drummer and so forth, and there. But it's their music. But every night, okay, when they play it, it's okay. The structure is there, but all different nuances. The feel is, it's great.
I think that's the beauty of music. You don't really know what to expect.
Yep, exactly.
Especially with those bands. So it's something to really cherish and enjoy, especially for groups that have been doing it for so long.
No joke.
I think that's why I appreciate Fish. It's like they've been doing it for about 40 years.
Yep.
So
and they're still doing it.
still doing it, which is
they're still down. They're
impressive.
still on tour, and there's God, but there's a lot of new people that are coming up now. I know, you got Billie Eilish. You got the Beeb is he's kind of sunsetted, but he's still out there.
Absolutely.
So forth, but you're crazy. Okay, get stuck on a desert island. What food could you eat every day?
Everybody will always make fun of me, especially one of the guys that I work with, that I eat buffalo chicken quite often. Whenever I go somewhere, it's normally always my go-to, a buffalo chicken wrap or sandwich or so forth. So that's probably the food that I wouldn't get, bored of if I was on a desert island.
Yeah, buffalo chicken. If you want to know the best pizza, you ever had buffalo chicken pizza?
I have.
Fabian's in Portland.
Okay.
It's second to none.
I'll have to give it a shot. Normally, I'm on the shoreline, so I'm a New Haven pizza kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
But I'm definitely open to trying that.
Yeah. What in New Haven? Sally's Modern or Pepe's?
I'm a big Sally's guy, but I do enjoy Modern as well. I know that I went to school with one of the owners from Modern, and they have very good pizza as well.
Yeah. A friend of mine, one of my drum teachers, does a music podcast, and Dean Falcone, who is basically, he produced the Pizza movie. I don't know if you've seen that for New Haven.
I don't think I have.
Yeah,
No.
but anyway, he came on John's podcast, and he walks in the podcast, and he had 3 large Sally's pizzas. It was awesome, man.
That's a great way to do a podcast.
Oh my God, it was great. It was fantastic, really. It was unbelievable. Yeah, but that's great. Yeah, but try Fabian, because their buffalo chicken is second to none. It really is. So anyway,
I'll have to give that a shot.
fantastic. Well, they're right in Portland, so yeah, if you're you're in the office now. Is your office on Marlborough Street, or do you have an office up on the 595?
So we currently are at Marlborough Street for part of our company, but I believe, I don't know if it'll be this year. Maybe next year we'll be moving all over to Main Street.
Yeah, that's what I think. Don said he's got the lease for one more year down there, so he's going to be doing that. But
Yeah.
that's good. Unbelievable. So fantastic. All right, Brendan, thank you so much for taking time to come up, and it's a
Thank you,
pleasure
Dave.
meeting you. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brendan Cutuli is in the house, working for Snyder Engineering. So, Brendan, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
That is all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And Mr. Brendan Cutuli was here from Snyder Engineering. And again, thanks again, Brendan, and have a good show this afternoon.
Thank you as well, Dave.
All righty.